Today I am talking about a book that I recently read called Station 11 by Emily St John Mandel. I have had this on my TBR since I got Goodreads, which must have been about 2021, and I just finally decided to bite the bullet. I've always really wanted to read it. I don't even know really the reason behind me never choosing it, because it's totally my kind of book. It's about the world after before, a little bit before, a little bit during, and mostly after a flu pandemic wipes out most of the world's population. And if you know me, you know I love that kind of book. And this book, it's really interesting because there was so much I loved about it, and so much that I resonated with, made me long for modern day life, and appreciate what I have today and what we have. But then there was other parts of it that just didn't hit the mark just right for me, and that's why I want to talk about it, because first of all I'm interested if anyone else has read it and what their thoughts were, but I'm also just going to run through a few points of what I loved about it, give you the general idea, and then a few bits that I wasn't quite sure on. So we're following the interconnected lives of several characters, as I said, pre, during and post this flu pandemic. Our main character, I would say, is Kirsten Raymond. She was very young when the flu pandemic happened, and we're following her as she travels around kind of the Great Lake area and close to Canada, and Lake Michigan, in this group called the Traveling Symphony, which go around to little settlements in the post-flu world where there's no electricity, no gas, life isn't how it was at all before, and they go around performing Shakespeare as actors, and also there's a orchestral kind of band with them. Arthur Leander is a famous actor who is kind of the character that interconnects all our other characters. I'm not going to mention every other character, and it's not only do you get the excitement of the and it's about to happen, and you're getting these rumblings of something's going on, what's going on, people are getting sick, people are panicking, all of that kind of stuff. You get the what happened just after, and now a post kind of like where everyone was, it was fight for yourself, you got to survive kind of life. You get a little glimpse into that, and then you get this post years later where people have kind of gone to the rhythm. There's dangerous places you can go, but generally people have got into a rhythm and have set up these little settlements or towns in these different areas. So there's loads of wind outside today, so I think you can hear lots of banging of the bin doors. I tried to close it several times, but it just keeps whacking back over, and it's squeaky too, so sorry about that. Yeah, but you also get these kind of suggestion, or you hear about this person called the Prophet, who seems to be quite dangerous, which I found quite exciting. I like a little bit of, cultish vibes in the post-flu world. I want a bit of danger, and there is a danger happening, and there is things happening, but I feel like it was a bit anticlimactic, let me just say. In my point of view, I found it quite anticlimactic, but in a way I think that's what the book was trying to do. It wasn't making this big action kind of crazy prophet guy and stuff like that. Yeah, I think I was talking about the Prophet. I think I was saying that I think I understand where the author was coming from that, and I can't actually really, criticize that, because I understand it. It was more of kind of quietly haunting and quietly scary, and nothing too in your face, which I can appreciate as well. And I did really like those moments and going in between the before and after. Now, what I will say is, Arthur is kind of the main guy who's connected to everyone, and I felt like it was quite weak, the storyline with him. I felt I didn't care as much. I felt like I didn't understand why we were having some links to, you know, people in his past. You know, there were some characters that I totally understood and I was really enjoying their stories and their journeys, but others I just felt I didn't feel the connection as much, and I didn't find him to be such a compelling character to be the link to all these other people. I felt like I needed his story to be a bit more interesting, so that's where it definitely lost a star for me, more than the whole prophet-y kind of thing. But on the positives was really, I guess, the stories about humanity and about what when you lose everything you know from, like she has these amazing passages where she talks about just the simplest things in our lives that we do that we take for granted. And not that we take for granted, we love doing them, but I wouldn't even think about that I'd miss them, and how they connected us, and how when we lost it all, what is left of being a human, and how people are coping in this new world with no internet, no electricity, no anything, no social media, no calling somebody up, no, you know, checking the time on your phone like that, no no watching your favorite TV show. Even she talks about no flickering on of, she really captures this kind of nostalgia for our kind of modern world in this book, which I really loved. I've talked about this before, and there is those books that can capture nostalgia about something that's like happening, that's real to you right now. I really appreciate it. You know, something as simple as the street lights coming on outside. I really appreciated those little passages that she had throughout, kind of making like, you know, this was the last time, you know, she just brings it, she weaves it in so beautifully into the story that it doesn't feel too much in your face, but you really appreciate it as you're reading it. Excuse me. That's what made it a totally different, what I call post-apocalyptic kind of sci-fi novel to usual ones I've read. It was kind of like a hopeful story. It was quiet. It was appreciating humanity and our creations and all of that kind of stuff. So yeah, I really enjoyed that part of it. I think it's a great book. I can't believe I took so long to read it, and I'm so glad now that I did, and I must read another book by her soon. But yeah, let me know if you've read it, what your thoughts were, if you liked it. Did you like it for the same reasons as me and dislike it for the same reason as me, or did you feel like any of my points were valid or not valid? Please leave a comment in the comments. Just tell me in the comments, and give this video a like please, and subscribe if you haven't already, because that would really help me. And let me know what other books you'd like me to read and then talk about. I love, you know, even books that I've read ages ago or more recent books like this one. I really like sitting down and talking about them. I feel I don't get to do that often, so just being able to, even though I'm just talking to my phone, it feels like I'm talking to you guys. So yeah, let me know if there's any other books, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.